Many thanks for subscribing to Free TV. From 10th of March to 16th of March was not a good day for the world and the country at large, as so many tragic events was recorded from Sunday to Saturday, one of which is the Ethiopian airline crashed that killed over 147 persons, including 8 crew members on board. Some African leaders have sent their condolences to the bereaved. We'll have details in this report.
An Ethiopian airline Boeing 737 on the Addis Ababa to Nairobi en route crashed on Sunday morning shortly after takeoff with 35 nationalities. According to the head of Ethiopian airline, the pilot had alerted the controllers he had difficulties and wanted to turn back the plane carrying 157 people. The crash, which claimed the lives of over 157 persons on board, came on the eve of a major annual assembly of the UN Environment Programme opening in Nairobi. Most African countries banned the Boeing of Ethiopian Airlines as a similar situation occurred 6 months ago. 1 week after the crash, relatives of the 17 Ethiopian victims gathered with hundreds of others at Only Trinity Cathedral in Addis, sobbing and holding portraits of their loved ones as an Ethiopian Orthodox priest said the last rite. Caskets dropped in the Ethiopian flag were brought to the cathedral in a convoy of black hearses, accompanied by hundreds of mourners, but it was not clear what the coffins contained. Families in 35 nations were left bereaved when the Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft plummeted from the sky just minutes into the flight to Nairobi. Some grieving families and friends visited the area where the plane crash went down, but saw plastic water bottles filled with earth from the side. The Ethiopian government, however, said it would take 6 months to identify the remains.
And on Monday, no fewer than 16 persons were reportedly killed in Bade in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The police command public relations officer Yakubu Sabo confirmed this while speaking with newsmen that unknown gunmen attacked the village, leaving many dead and others injured. We have details in this report.
The Kaduna State Police Command on Monday said no fewer than 16 persons were killed by unknown gunmen at Bada village under Maru in Kajura local government area of the state. It was discovered about 7:30 a.m. on Sunday. Some unknown armed men entered Bada village shooting sporadically, which resulted to the death of 16 persons. On recipient of the information, the command mobilized team of police operatives led by Kujura Division police officer along military personnel with a view to apprehend the perpetrators and restore normalcy to the area. Reports gathered the operation was ongoing and the situation was brought under control. The police officer appealed for calm and extended his heartfelt condolence to the families of those who were affected by the recent carnage.
A small event unfolded itself within the week for residents of Itafaji in Lagos Island was a Black Wednesday, as 3-story building collapsed within the area, leaving many dead and others injured. The story tells us more.
Activities in the busy and often crowded Itafaji area of Lagos State Island were disrupted by tragedy on Wednesday morning when a 3-story building housing a school collapsed, trapping more than 100 persons including pupils. The building, located on the cramped street characterized by old buildings, went down around 10 a.m. when a pupil of the school, which occupied the last floor, were getting into the day's activity proper and scores of residents were home. Thousands of residents and many emergency workers descended on the scene and rescued many upon arrival, but some were remained trapped. The already gloomy streets toward a shade darker in the minutes that followed the collapse, with a mixture of shocked residents, screaming women highlighting the disaster. Those who had first rushed to the same battled against the robbers, clutching, pushing and shoving concrete and metal just to pull out those trapped. Members of the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority, the Police National Emergency Management Agency and other rescue workers who rushed to the scene had to contend with both the crowd and robbers as they joined the desperate rescue effort that continued into the night. As the news of the collapse spread, anxious parents, friends and relations made their way to the school to find their loved ones and children. According to report, the house was a death trap as many who had lived there never stayed for long after several complaints about the structural integrity. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Governor Akiwumi Ambodo, who visited the site, said it was quite an unfortunate incident while condemning illegal structures within the area. The scene of the Lagos Island General Hospital was no different from Itafaji collapse site, as parents stormed the hospital to look for their victims and sympathizers were wearing gloomy faces as ambulance arrived one at a time from the side. People shuffled to identify the next victim, either dead or alive. Permanent Secretary Lagos State Ministry of Health Titilayo Gonkas assured the parents and well-wishers at the hospital would do everything possible to save the lives of those rescued. Following the incidents, a mother who lost two of her children in the collapse building committed suicide hearing the news. According to an anonymous resident, the mother who lived with her family in Gambri area of the island was found with a bottle of sniper beside her where she slept, only to be discovered that she had died. It was however learned that she gave birth to the children, who were between the ages of 6 and 4 through cesarean section. As a result of the incident, the Lagos State Building Control Agency on Friday commenced the demolition of defective building within the area to avoid the tragic incidents.
Welcome back, you're still watching Flip News. Same Wednesday was a day of anguish and mourning for Onitsha residents and Umuchi when a tanker laden with kerosene lost control and ramped into the crowd of traders and everything went in parts, killing some residents and others injured. The story tells us more.
Opiweka in Onitsha, a major commercial hub in Nigeria's southeastern region, is popular for a number of reasons, particularly the volume of business activities that takes place. It's a major transport hub with high traffic of persons and vehicles connecting virtually every part of the country. Added to this is the swarm of hawkers and petty traders selling all kinds of consumables from snacks to water park and sachets, which makes the hustle and bustle nature of Opiweka clearly evident. All this was suddenly interrupted at the onset in Onitsha on Wednesday, March 13, when a tanker laden with kerosene lost control and ramped into the crowd of traders, everything in part, crushing both goods and human beings. About the time everything became quiet, about 10 people were found to have been killed, leaving at least 6 others critically injured, including a woman who had a left lower limb cut. The State Commissioner of Health, Joe Akawike, who visited the hospital at the instance of the governor, conducted round the world to sympathize with the injured with an assurance that the government would take up their medical bills. The tragedies on the road have become worrisome to the state government, but the Commissioner for Health promised that the state government would take proactive measures to effectively tackle the challenges of reckless driving that leads to fatal accidents. While the residents of Onitsha struggle to come out to the terms with the tragedy, a similar scenario played out in Umuchi, a town in Aguta local government area of Anambra State, where a trailer laden with cement collided with a tipper and crashed into a chain of stores at Eke Umuchi market. 3 people, including the driver of the trailer, the conductor of the tipper, and a member of the community who was in front of the shop when the disaster struck, lost their lives.
Not less than 49 people in New Zealand lost their life in Christchurch as unknown gunmen opened rifle at the building. We have details in this report.
The New Zealand situation was described as a coordinated and unprecedented attack that has shocked the usual peaceful nation. According to the New Zealand Police Commissioner, 4 people have been arrested, comprising of a woman and a man. However, he believes there could be more suspects at large. The attack, which occurred at the Ethno Mosque on Dean Avenue and Leewood Masjid in Linwood, both in Christchurch Centre City, reported multiple explosive devices that was used in part of the attack. One of the survivors of the attack revealed how his friend risked his life to attack the gunman and grab the rifle. The shooter shot at everyone that came his way, although one of the friends died at the scene, while another was left bleeding heavily as he tried to contact emergency services. The New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, describing the tragedy, said it was one of the New Zealand's darkest days, and the victim has chosen to make New Zealand a home and part of the country.
It's not really a good one for Nigeria and the country at large for the week. Barely a few days after the Itafaji collapse, another building collapsed in Ibadan, with some residents who are working on the site injured. However, some residents of the area come to their rescue. The report from the National Emergency Agency says no casualty or no life was lost in the incident. The story tells us more.
Barely a few days after a building collapsed in Lagos, killing many with others injured, another building collapsed in Ibadan on Friday. The structure, which was still under construction, collapsed at Shogoye area of the state capital. The first of the barricade personnel who arrived at the scene of the collapse building were helpless, and they could not do more in digging out the debris to rescue trapped victims, as there were no equipment to carry out the rescue operation. However, when the National Emergency Management Agency arrived at the scene, they rescued a number of victims and reported no casualties were recorded in the incidents.
And on Saturday, a fresh attack that hit Mozambique left no fewer than 30 persons dead and others injured. The story tells us more.
Islamists have terrorized the villages in the Rumit community in the last 1 year, but Saturday's attack was very disturbing. Reports gathered there was attack about 48 hours earlier at Ulo village in Masimba Daprea district, where over 120 houses were destroyed. Hardline Islamists have launched several deadly attacks in the Muslim-majority Koba Delgado province in the past year, stoking unrest just as Mubtu pushes ahead with gas explosion effort. Recall last month a Mozambican worker was killed and 6 others were wounded when 2 road convoys operated by US gas giant came under attack in northern Mozambique.
Same on Saturday, more than 30 houses were razed by unknown gunmen while others were killed in the same incident. We'll have more in the story.
Sanga is a border town with Nasarawa and Plateau State and the home of the deputy governor-elect Adizazi Balabe. More than 30 houses were razed in the latest attack, which was confirmed by the member representing the area in the National Assembly as well as the People's Democratic Party deputy governorship candidate in the just concluded election. Nasiru El-Rufai, in a statement signed through his special assistant on media and publicity, Samuel Aruwan, also confirmed the attack and begged for peace within the area. It was learned that the attack on Nadu Koba was launched by unidentified gunmen that invaded the village at 4 a.m. on Saturday, shooting indiscriminately at everyone. A member representing Sagajama Federal Constituency, Shehu Gaba, while condemning the attack, called for urgent attention for relevant authority to protect the people.
It was not a good day for Nigerian and for the world at large. Last week, leaving people dead and others injured. We pray the souls of the departed rest in peace.
Rachel Fadoju, Flip News, Lagos.